What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Alright, we're here for day 3, Destiny. Things are looking good. We're looking, what do we got? About 100,000 players on right now. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's keep it up. Everybody keep logging in every day. Let me go spend my glimmer. I suppose I should spend some of these some of these guys, these Ascended Alloys. I'm getting low on Ascended shards, man. It's not good. It's not good. Might have to buy some from Mr. Rahul. Alright, the goal today is we're just going to be doing whatever activities we want. I do kind of want to make another build. I'm having a lot of fun with this solar build, and the void build is also really good. But I want to have another. I should get another turncoat. Can I get it out of the collections, probably? Yeah, we're going to just buy another one. I'll have 2 of them. That way, when I want to, I can just do this, throw this on, equip that, and then we can just upgrade it with one of these guys. Bada bing. And now we can save this loadout. And now we have a turncoat on both characters. That way I don't have to worry about equipping it on every character, blah 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 blah. Okay. Now how should I spend my enhancement cores? I could have upgraded my mint retrograde if I wanted to. Yeah, but I need ascendant shards, dude. I really do. There. Could upgrade this sword as well. Send it alloys. Yeah, screw it. There you go. I'm hoping once I hit 550 light that it's just going to permanently drop tier 5s, so I don't have to worry about upgrading anymore. Okay. The distortion area is actually about to change.
Adopting this new technology feels overwhelming. I barely understand it, but it's nice to have a good challenge in front of me.
Alright, we're gonna go to the EDZ. Grind some corruption areas. I need to get a chest piece bad. All of my armor is like above 500, and then my chest piece is 494.
I believe this means a resource grab.
Saws balls. Alright, we're already at 900 in our vault. So, yeah. And that's only after like 2 days.
Hey, you! Clear up! I'd expect a Cabal mining expedition to be heavily armed. Be careful.
Damn. Killed that quick.
Got that ship. It's a black eye for them. I heard those explosions from here. What was that?
Oh, just us taking out a mining lander, a ship, and a commander.
As you do. I stand in awe.
Never mind, we're going to the Dreaming City. Alright, let's go to the Dreaming City. And go up there. Now we wait. What the heck? We got a big boy. Alright, just organizing some things. I'm ready. Is that guy still trying to do that? Oh, he's almost got it ready. Everybody's been working on that. Alright, I did my part. All these people. I'm doing this by myself. This sucks. We had all these people around and we could have done this, and I'm sitting here doing it by myself. This dude's just AFK over here. People don't understand. You don't do the public event. You do the event after the public event. That's where you get all the goodies at. Am I seriously alone again? Bro, you guys there was two of you here. Where are you going? There's free loot here. Oh my. I guess we're just gonna leave the Dreaming City because apparently nobody wants to do the activities. Ridiculous. Do, do, do. Alright, just getting things organized. I need something that's going to give me a chess piece. Cloak, cloak, cloak. Let's go try this, see if we get lucky. Maybe we'll get a chess piece. Max level.
regulation system.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there. Trying to get there, shooter.
There's no telling how the blind well will react, or how Zebu or Roth will take advantage.
I'm at 500. I need to get to 550.
Getting those batteries up the hill will take teamwork. Don't be afraid to hand them off.
Yeah, it takes a while to get to 550. I'm in no rush, but I just kind of want to get god rolls of like all the different guns and stuff like that. Oops.
Feels good to be back in the fight.
Oh yeah.
From what I saw, the Guardian did all the work.
What you up to, shooter? You working?
Zebu or Roth's forces have infested
Building
this
some
area.
merns.
Their taken rifts are destabilizing the ley lines, making alignment impossible.
Aim the taken essences to close their rifts and stabilize the area.
Oh, got Mav over there getting a check on him. That's good. That's good. Oh, no, yeah, you said you work at those. Yeah, gotcha. Never mind. Gotcha. Yep. Almost killed me multiple times. Dang. Oh, did she? Nice, nice. That's good. I know they've been having a rough time with her lately, so that's good.
Just like streams of water, ley lines can be polluted. Ziggurat will use them to poison the blind well if she can. Stay vigilant.
What the heck is that?
Protect your compass and prepare for battle.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's that one. There's so much going on. We did it.
Ziggurat is determined to destroy Sotherville, no matter how much it costs her. Her obsession is beyond sword logic. This seems personal.
The bond between siblings surpasses any form of
This
logic.
might be good.
I once had a sister myself. She was a Techian, just like those we're rescuing. She was killed in the rays of Amethyst. I still see her in my dreams and meditations. But sentiment has no place in this fight. Savathun understands that. I hope Mara does too.
You saw that collapse shooty by the Spurs last night? That was crazy. I'm glad the Knicks came back. Yeah, one more win. I think they're kind of hoping that it'll be Game 6 just cause so that way they can win in New York. But finish it in San Antonio would work as well.
The nightmares are converging in your location. Begin the harvest.
Maybe less fry if it's in San Antonio. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I got Clue to play a little bit earlier too, and he's getting the hang of his Titan, so that's good. Get all three of us on, we could do some strike action.
A powerful nightmare has risen nearby. Find it and destroy it.
Oh, you want to make a Warlock? Yeah, you can. They got some sick new abilities too. I mean, you've seen how quick we got you leveled up to 300 anyway, so take us like an hour to get your Warlock geared up. Heck yeah.
The harvester hungers, and its thirst will not be denied.
Yeah. Just hit me up. I'll be here chilling. Catch you later. Okay. We might have to do a little, housekeeping in the old vault. We just might have to. We have 689 weapons, 197 pieces of armor. I don't really care about these. I'm probably gonna have to go through and delete some. I don't know, we'll see. Let me look at just my hunter armor. Alright, we have 111 pieces of hunter armor. Let us sort by tier. So right now we have 3 U technology cowls. One of them is tier 4, so we're probably just gonna. I don't know. I put a lock on this one because I did like it, but I think we're gonna get rid of it. So we still have 3 in here that are all tier 5. This one has class, super, and weapons. That one's probably the best one. Yeah. Then we have 3 skirmisher Exodus down helmets. So we obviously don't need 3 of the exact same thing. And what's the set bonus? Shields collect all nearby orbs. When you gain or lose an armor charge, heal gains. This is like a defensive kind of set. So if I was going to play a more defensive playstyle, I'd probably want health, super, and class would probably be my guess. And yeah, that's not on pretty much any of these, but we do have super on these 2 and grenade on that one. So we'll get rid of this one, and we'll keep one of these. Let's keep that one. Get rid of this one. Alright, now we have 4 of these Wildwood masks. Grenader, Brawler, Demolitionist, Reaver. So it's all different classes. Okay. What do we got for Ferropotent? Gunner, Brawler, Paragon, Specialist. Yeah, see, I kind of do want to have every set and one of each, but then, like, if I do that, that's like... It's like too many, yeah? It's like way too many. Sorry. I know that's nasty, but okay. Five pieces of Ferropotent Specialist, Gunner, Paragon, Specialist, Brawler. This one has grenades class. So you probably want the grenade one actually. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, we'll get rid of this one. Colossus Paragon Powerhouse. So we got two Paragons, melee super weapons, melee super weapons. It's literally the same thing. Except you can change the melee on this one and the weapons on that one. We're going to keep that one, get rid of this one. Yeah, it's probably better to have the super. I don't know, maybe. Let's see. Increase reload speed, reloading a weapon. Actually, yeah. So the Suros is more of a weapons thing. So you actually want you probably want specialist. You probably want this one over these two. So. And that's kind of the thing, is just like figuring out your armor. Okay. When you can figure out the armor and start getting your everything balanced to how it should be, build around your set bonus, build around your spec, build around your class, build around your exotic, build around your weapon. And being able to cohesively build around all those things together is how you get really good builds. I have 6 pairs of Exodus down boots, so Brawler, Gunner. Alright, we only have 2 duplicates, which is kind of surprising. We have 2 skirmishers, one with super, one with health. Probably the one with super? Yeah. Four Ferropotent Cloaks, Bulwark, Gunner, Paragon, Grenader. And ideally, you just get rid of all tier 4s. You can't upgrade it. So, I do have a U Technology tier 5. So, we can probably just get rid of both of these. I think I have another one in my possession too, so I could probably use it to upgrade my stuff. I got a tier 4 U Technology Reaver. Okay. Alright, back to the vault. This is tier 4, get rid of it. Alright, we only have one tier 4 left, and I'm probably just going to go ahead and delete it. So now my vault has all tier 5 gear. And I just lied again. Why is it not sorting it? There. See ya. See ya. See ya. See ya. Alright, now we only have tier 5s in there. That's the goal. Get everything up to tier 5. Get a full set bonus on every set. But that's going to take a lot. Because, I mean, no way. How many sets is that? 1, 2. They don't have a Neomuna set, I don't think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. I think there's like 6 different sets. If I want to get 6 different sets on 3 different characters, times 5. 6 times 5 is 30. Times 3 is 90. So, like, bare minimum, it would probably be like 100 slots just for one set of each on each character. So, yeah, 30. Okay. So, yeah. It's going to be like 100 slots. I might as well just double that. It's probably going to be around 200 slots just for armor for each character. Not including exotic armor, but I'm going to try and keep most of the exotic armor pieces that I need on the characters. And then each character is also going to have a PvP set, a Gambit set. Yeah, dude, this is going to take me a while. Alright, I need to let the doggo out, so I will be right back.
we should be building more ships. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. If we're gonna stay here, we should be building more ships. That's all I'm saying. We need a centralized city government, now more than ever.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Let's see if anybody's on Savathun's Throne World. Blobby, destroyer of nuggies. I really like that emote. I wish I would have bought that in the store. That thing is... well, I'm pretty sure I could probably get it with a Bright Ingram eventually. But yeah, that is awesome. I really like that one. I think I might have to just start grabbing the Ingrams until I get it. Nice.
As always, we thank you.
Very good, very good. What is the set bonus on this? Finisher on a continent next to the grenades I'm allowed to pick up. Find a finisher. Oh, that's cool. Snuck in and got it last second. 4 gigabit. Well, next one's about to happen, and this one's already going on. Which one do we go for? Oh no, that one's just starting. Okay. Let's see if everybody else is going this way. Excuse me. Pardon me. You know. This build is so crazy. I don't ever have to, like, hit the ground if I don't want to. We've definitely gotten a lot of that SMG. The coil. Let's do the coil, why not? I haven't done the coil in a minute. It says this could take up to 40 minutes. It's kind of crazy. Is it broken? Man, I think this was broken last time I tried to play it, and that was like 6 months ago. Don't tell me that stuff's still broken. Alright, let's make another build. We're gonna do that. Probably not smart because I don't have a lot of materials, but I'm gonna look up another build. Maybe do something arc. I don't know. Yeah, everyone has this build. Literally everyone is using crackshot builds. I searched it in Destiny. That's all you see. That's funny.
What's your favorite hunter build right now? Do you prefer that I just show you right now? In fact, not only is it my favorite hunter build, but it's actually the same build that's allowed me to clear the most recent contest mode raid, Desert Perpetual, which is on its mods, aspects, fragments, subclass, all that goodness. Let me first show you what it's capable of. And to do that, I am going to contrast the best part of the build with a Celestial Nighthawk. We're just going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And we hit him for 3,380 something on the actual boss itself and 4,807. So this build does about 2/3 of a Celestial Nighthawk Golden Gun Super. Which will the core functionality of the build. You do not have to use this if you don't want to, or if you don't know the gun. If you do happen though, the Navigator Trace Rifle with its
Let me look for a Mactix build. He's always got good builds.
Since the release of Renegades and subsequently the Praxic Blade Exotic Sword, I have spent the past couple of days theory crafting and testing to find what I believe is the perfect hunter build to run with it. And I believe I have finally arrived at just that. You are borderline invincible with this setup, have ludicrous knots. In fact, there are many different exotic class item roll combos that you could potentially have that will work perfectly fine with this build without losing out on too many of the benefits. The number one best roll that you can have is the Renewal Surturachne combination. However, if you have a Renewal Coyote combination, that can also work exceptionally well too. But if you don't have either of those two specific combinations, you can really use any exotic class item with the Renewal perk or any exotic item with the Surturachne perk, which means you have basically one option here, and then the 6 remaining options with Renewal, followed by the 7 remaining options with Surturachne, which if my math is correct, that means you have 15 potential exotic class item options to work with. So, why specifically do we love the Renewal Surturachne combination or either of the two? Well, as you can see here, anytime we use any grenade with Surturachne, we get Woven Mail for a gigantic damage resistance buff, and if we use a Duskfield grenade specifically with Spirit of Renewal, that will also proc Spirit of Surturachne, and will freeze everything inside of that Duskfield grenade, of course, and allies inside of that Duskfield grenade, that's both us and our allied teammates, will all gain Frost Armor. So if you put these two perks together, it's a crazy amount of damage resistance anytime you throw a Duskfield grenade, or anytime you stand in the Duskfield grenade, and of course anything in that Duskfield grenade is going to get frozen, so it can't even fire back at you. But how does this play into the Praxic Blade? Well, if we take a look at the Praxic Blade, and you might notice you do not need to have any exotic catalyst for this, you do not need any of the mods. The only thing that is truly beneficial, which again is not required, is having one of the two available cores, either the Impact Core, where melee damage from this weapon applies an elemental effect that
Yeah, if I remember right, I used to use this build before I deleted it.
matches your equipped super, or the Refraction, any exotic item with the Surturachne. Remaining options with Renewal, followed by the 7 remaining options with Surturachne, which if my math is correct, that means you have 15 potential exotic class item options to work with. So, why specifically do we love the Renewal Surturachne combination, or either of the two? Well, as you can see here, anytime we use any grenade with Surturachne, my personal opinion, when you're starting out with the build, go with the Shadow Shot Deadfall option, because it's way easier than
Alright. We're almost done. Sorry, guys.
Maintain your buffs and maintain your core loot. However, once you get really experienced with this, you can start. As stats go, we really just care about extremely high ability uptime, so we can constantly be throwing out dustfield grenades and using our class ability to generate threat inspectors and throw out more withering blades, since our class ability does refund melee energy. So we're going to want to go with 100 grenade stat. We don't care about going over 100 because that's just going to increase the damage of our grenade, which we don't care about for dustfield. It's really just a crowd control grenade. We want class stat at 100 as well. Don't care about going over 100.
So we want 100 grenade, 100 class.
City corner.
That's just going to give us overshield. We have more than enough damage resistance and aggro pull with threat inspector to not really need that. Other than that, we want a little bit of stat points in our melee so that our gambler's dodge is going to refund a decent amount of it. Somewhere from 45 to 55 will be more than okay. A decent amount of super stats, so we can be dropping a lot of tethers for a lot of debuffing and crowd control. And then the rest is going to want to go into your weapon stat because that is going to significantly increase the.
Alright, we want weapons too. Let's go with at least 100 weapons. What is this? 418 total. Select a set bonus. We're not going to do a set bonus yet, but in the future we will. In the future we will. Alright. We'll have that be general. Choose a new name. There you go. Alright. We've got it set up. Now, go to loadouts. And we're going to use the new one, and we're going to delete the old one. Sorry, I know I'm not showing you guys. I'm doing it on my other monitor, but basically I'm just making a loadout on dim. And now we're gonna go hit apply, and this will equip everything in game. And then it'll also change all my mods out as well. And then he also talked about what he has on the artifact.
A weakening burst. You can obtain an elemental buff like this by utilizing something with a perk like Repulsor Brace in conjunction with a stabilizing round, something like the Word of Crota, or one of the other 70 weapons that has a combination like this to get this Void elemental buff, so you can go ahead and get that thing going. Furthermore, if we take advantage of any other debuffing option, we will be proccing the Stylish Executioner Void aspect, which will give us invisibility, and if we swing the Praxic Blade while we're in invisibility, that will of course debuff enemies with weaken. Another thing that works really nicely, not only with this artifact for the alternative option of replacing the impact core functionality, but just blanket wide for the entirety of this build, is this third column artifact for Power from Pain, or rapid final blows against weakened combatants.
Power from pain.
Grant you Devour. Devour is not only going to be extremely useful for fueling Singularity Blade if you do not have the impact core, because Devour is a Void elemental buff in and of itself, meaning all melee and sword hits will subsequently weaken additional targets, and obviously Final Blows while in possession of Devour will increase the duration of Devour, but having the Devour buff and getting Final Blows will also give you a large chunk of grenade energy refunded. And again, if we recall back to our exotic class item, everything revolves around our grenade for significant damage resistance buffs. That grenade specifically, of course, is going to be the Duskfield Grenade, which can take advantage of both the Spirit of Surturacne and the Spirit of Renewal 2 in 1, so that our damage resistance is absolutely insane. Looking at the rest of our subclass, I really like going with the Threaded Spectre aspect for 3 additional fragment slots, where anytime we activate our class ability, we are going to make a strand clone that is going to draw aggro away from ourselves and other allies. So if all those damage resistance buffs weren't enough, the ability to basically tell enemies to look over here instead so that they aren't shooting at you or your allies is going to make survivability even easier. These things are also going to provide a little bit of damage as well when they get broken and spawn with threadlings and take out a bunch of enemies. We're also going to have our class ability up rather frequently thanks to some of our fragments, such as Facet of Hope, or while we have an elemental buff, something like Devour or something like Invisibility, our class ability is going to regenerate more quickly. This is also going to be nice for the fact that we're utilizing Gambler's Dodge, and every time we use Gambler's Dodge, we are not only getting our Threaded Spectre generated, but we're also refunding a significant amount of melee energy to something like Withering Blade, so we can get even more slowing and freezing and crowd control out on the battlefield. Other notable fragments that you're going to want to take are the Facet of Protection, where while surrounded by combatants, you're more resistant to incoming damage, which makes perfect sense for a close range sword build. We're also going to want the Facet of Ruin, which is going to increase the size and damage of the burst when we shatter a Stasis Crystal or Frozen target, which is going to be anything that's affected by our multiple Withering Blades or anything that sits in our Duskfield Grenades. We also love something like the Facet of Purpose, where anytime we pick up an Orb of Power, we're going to get Void Overshield, thanks to the fact that we have Shadow Shot Deadfall, which again is going to be another way to take advantage of the Singularity Blade artifact perk, which will be particularly useful, again, if you don't have that impact core to get weakening on every single hit. This will do that just fine for you. Finally, we have the Facet of Grace, where anytime we defeat targets with kinetic weapons, such as the Praxic Blade, it gives us bonus Transcendence energy, so we can have higher uptime on our Transcendence, which is going to give us a 5% damage bonus to our Praxic Blade hits as well, in conjunction with constantly refunding all of our specialized grenades and melee, so we can do a flurry of abilities, which is going to be particularly nice when it comes to crowd controlling things further. It's also worth noting that there is technically an alternative variation of this build, where you swap the Facet of Grace for the Facet of Dawn, and you swap the Shadow Shot Deadfall for Golden Gun Marksman. What this is going to allow you to do is then going to make the Praxic Blade swings scorch enemy targets. Now don't worry, this will still proc things like Stylish Executioner, and you might be thinking, well Mac, how do I then get weakening on the sword swings, how do I get Devour and all that goodness as well? Well, the way you would be able to accomplish that is once again through activating something like Singularity Blade, by getting something like Overshield, or getting kills while you're in invisibility from Stylish Executioner, and then from those multiple weakened kills, you would then pick up Power from Pain, which will give you Devour, tons of grenade energy regeneration, in conjunction with fueling Singularity Blade furthermore, so you continue weakening everything and scorch everything on every subsequent sword swing, and you also have the option of a Radiant damage buff Golden Gun if you would like. In my personal opinion, when you're starting out with the build, go with the Shadow Shot Deadfall option because it's way easier to maintain your buffs and maintain your core loot. However, once you get really experienced with this build, if you want to min-max a little bit more and get a little bit more mileage to get weakening swings and scorching swings on every single swing of the Praxic Blade, you can start to experiment with trying to keep the loop up with simply the artifact perks and not keeping it up with weakening swings from Shadow Shot Deadfall. As far as stats go, we really just care about extremely high ability uptime, so we can constantly be throwing out Dustfield grenades and using our class ability to generate threatened specters and throw out more Withering Blades, since our class ability does refund melee energy. So we're going to want to go with 100 grenade stat. We don't care about going over 100 because that's just going to increase the damage of our grenade, which we don't care about for Dustfield. It's really just a crowd control grenade. We want class stat at 100 as well. Don't care about going over 100 because that's just going to give us Overshield. We have more than enough damage resistance and aggro pull with Threatened Spectre to not really need that. Other than that, we want a little bit of stat points in our melee so that our Gambler's Dodge is going to refund a decent amount of it. Somewhere from 45 to 55 will be more than okay. A decent amount of super stats, so we can be dropping a lot of tethers for a lot of debuffing and crowd control. And then the rest is going to want to go into your weapon stat because that is going to significantly increase the damage output of your Praxic Blade. Specifically, we are going to be getting 15% bonus damage on top of another 6.7% bonus damage against bosses, which feels really, really good. Finally, for our mods, on the helmet we have Kinetic Siphon so that Praxic Blade double kills generate Orbs of Power, a special ammo fighter for more Praxic Blade ammo, and a Dynamo for bonus super energy whenever we use our class ability for more tethers. Down on our gloves, we go Bolstering Detonation, which is going to give us class ability energy whenever we cause damage with a grenade. So as enemies sit in our Dustfield grenades, that will give us class ability energy for more Specters and Withering Blades, in conjunction with a couple melee font mods, really just because there's nothing better to run on here. You're doing most of the work with your Praxic Blade, you don't need any loaders, you don't need any dexterity. In terms of the ability refunding stuff, we already have more than enough ability energy, and we're really not getting enough grenade final blows to justify firepower, or enough powered melee final blows rather to justify something like heavy handling. Down on the chest piece, concussive dampener, resistance of choice, and then a kinetic ammo generation, so that anytime you get kinetic kills, it is going to juice up your ammo meters, which of course Praxic Blade is going to be the majority of our kills. Down on the boots, double kinetic weapon surge, which is going to give us a 17% damage bonus to our Praxic Blade whenever we are armor charged, and then in innervation mods, anytime we pick up an Orb of Power, we can reduce grenade cooldown for more Dustfield grenade throws. Finally, on the class item, Reaper, so that anytime we dodge, next weapon final blow, Praxic Blade final blow will generate an Orb of Power, give us all our armor charge, time dilation, so armor charge surges fonts last longer, and powerful attraction, so that our class ability can scoop up orbs. So with this build all put together, let me load up an invadable instance of Grandmaster Lawless Frontier, the hardest difficulty that we can do, so I can show you exactly how you want to play this build and show you exactly how good it truly is. And I know I've been beating this tip to death recently in my other Praxic Blade guide videos, but I do want to mention it again just because it is so important. The number one.
All right. Bro, I need a chess piece so bad. Like, so bad I need a chess piece. I gotta make this look good. We already have a couple sets, so I gotta make this one look good and then I'll save it. Let's just take off all the skins. Okay. This is a prismatic build. I kind of like the chromo cloak look for this stuff. Yeah. 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 That looks so good. Alright, now what do we do for shaders? Man, that looks so good. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Damn, that's clean. Alright. Save as an in-game loadout. Slot 3. Prismatic. There you go. Alright. I'm done messing around. Firefly, Zen Moment, Forge's Kin. at all these ironwoods that I got. Jeez. Tally, auto loading, holster, attrition orbs, subsistence. Seems like every gun has good perks on it, so I don't know. Just gonna get rid of this one, I guess. Abide the return. Too bad it's tier 3. Garbage. Okay. How many people? Oh yeah. Keep it rolling.
OG inbounds, not guarded, tip in to win. Here was how his post-game press conference started. This is literally the best. How are you going to remember OG shot historically?
I don't think we're going to have to remember it.
Oh,
Because it's going to be a statue outside of Madison Square Garden.
really?
And
Statues outside the car.
I know, but there's.
And you think that'll be the first?
I think there will be. I think this team will have multiple statues, and I am giving the Knicks a free idea to chart new statue ground.
Love it. Let's hear it.
The first ever, what I would call doubleheader statue, where on one side is OG making the block, and on the other side is
like
him with
90
the tip
feet
in.
away?
Is tip in, but it's the same statue. It's like they share a back. It's like OG facing this way blocking, OG facing this way tipping it in.
It's very
Jay just
interesting.
laughed at me, but it's an awesome idea.
That's ambitious.
It's an awesome idea. But I do think this will be, if they win the championship, this will be a statue outside of Madison Square Garden. I believe that. But go ahead.
I don't know. That'll be interesting. I mean, like you say, they don't have statues out there. There's
Thank
no
goodness.
Patrick Ewing, Walt Frazier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Statues make it something good. But it's the best, assuming they go on and win the championship. It is the greatest shot in Knicks history. And I know we all talk about the Willis Reed jump shots in 1970, Game 7. And those were huge. But, you know, Willis had 4 points in that game. They were early.
It was the first 2 points.
Yeah.
Two
And then
baskets.
he didn't score the rest of the game. This obviously was the game winner. And so I think it just has to be, breaks the 53-year drought, has to be the greatest shot in Knicks history. And then I just think it's one of the most iconic shots in NBA history. Like, I think of, and I'm not saying these are the top 4 or whatever, but ones that come to mind.
I love this.
Obviously the LeBron block in 2017.
Yes. Yep.
So plays, 2016 against Golden State. Ray Allen shot
Yeah.
in Miami Game 6 against San Antonio, 2013. Jordan shot against Utah, 98 to end the
Wait a minute.
second.
I just thought about that. I could
And
just
it-
buy an exotic chess
I
piece,
think, like,
In the Kyrie shot, which is
and then I can just infuse it.
Just 'cause LeBron
Let's
just-
go.
Yeah, I think LeBron. Yeah, and Kyrie's shot was obviously incredible.
Jeez, I didn't even think about
I
that.
feel like
Yeah.
iconic kind of means things that are resonate in people's minds. So I think people think more.
That
about
brings
block
my light
than
up
actual
quite a
game
bit
shot.
now.
I just put this up there with all those.
I think it is.
Let's go.
If I think post-war, the last decade of the NBA, LeBron, the block shot was 2016. I think the most iconic single shot is Kawhi's series run. The double with
Against
Toronto
Philadelphia?
against Philly. The game 7 double bounce.
Yep.
I think that's the most iconic single shot in the NBA in the last 10 years.
This would pass that.
I think this passes.
Yeah.
I think it's the most. I think it is. There has not been a single final shot that sticks out to me. There's the lob from Drew to Giannis, you know, late in that game, but that wasn't like that wasn't 1 second left. That is, this to me is, and there aren't, like, this isn't a buzzer beater, I know technically, but there aren't a lot of, you know, finals game-winning buckets, even, you know, in the last 3 seconds in the history of the finals. This is, and the way he did it. Can I ask you one question before you go?
Yeah.
If we run it again, I think it's really interesting that Brunson could have just, he's so open, Brunson could have just passed it to him, he has a wide open shot. Like, he's asking for the ball. He's asking for the ball. And but if he does, maybe he makes it and it's fine. But if he does that, they don't have time for the putback. Like, this was the other thing, and Kenny made this point.
It was an early shot.
Well, Kenny made this point, and Chuck killed him for it, but he was right at the start of the Inside the NBA. It did remind you a bit of the problem with the Spurs game 2 end when, I almost said Tony Parker, when De'Aaron Fox just dribbled and waited, and then Wemby took his time expired. They didn't give themselves the chance for their version of something like this.
I'll tell you why I love this shot. I like when iconic moments line up with the player's aura, let's say.
LeBron's block is in that category.
Yeah, LeBron is obviously the all-time leading scorer, but his versatility will always remember, can play all the positions, and his most famous play was block. Jordan was, you know what? I know he's got Paxton Kerr, has famous shot skill, but he's like, I'm going to win this by myself. Man, he didn't push him. And this is OG, who has quietly, as we saw from like his press conference, like under the radar, I'll just do a little bit of everything. I'll get the block on De'Aaron Fox to save, maybe save the game. I'm not giving up, and I'm going to try my hardest, and I'm a tip-in. Call it a shot. It's certainly the most famous tip-in, but it's not like it's an unconventional shot, not like it's Reggie Miller's shot in the Garden, Larry Johnson's
Jim
shot.
Valvano game.
Yeah.
It's the most famous tip-in since.
But even that was grabbed and put back,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's all time. It's an
Lorenzo
iconic.
Charles.
Excellent.
No one fed me that, actually.
No one's claiming that. Doctor, that's too much. Al Harrington here with us to talk about the largest blown lead in NBA Finals history. Charles Barkley didn't mince words after the game. All right, Al, caveat on this question. You can't say both. Was this more of a historic comeback or more of a historic collapse?
Before we start, man, like New York's on fire right now.
Correct.
I know the song for you guys.
Wow.
I want you to sing with me, okay? You ready? Start spreading. Come on, Wild, bro.
This
The
song.
next one went away.
Oh, my.
Come on, Wild. Come be a part of it. Come on. New York. New York. Hey, here we go, man. Hey, it was so crazy in New York.
Financial implications.
Yeah, we got to be careful about that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, good.
Listen, New York was crazy. I was at a viewing party yesterday at Central Park, and I couldn't even get an Uber back to the hotel. I had to walk from Central Park all the way back to 35th Street. And New York was nuts. They was
Bad
lighting
beat
off
for the person standing behind
firecrackers,
Allen.
fireworks. It was nuts yesterday. But listen, the Knicks is our time. It's our destiny. You know, the basketball gods are taking care of us. They're putting the perfect team in front of us for sure.
Oh, that's interesting.
These young, okay, yesterday was a trap game, right? In the league, like when we would play certain teams or certain players specifically like that, you know, if they hit their first 2 threes, we always rooted for them because if they hit the first 2 threes, they would just keep moving and they would forget about their mid-range game or playing downhill. And I think that's what happened to San Antonio yesterday. They hit all those threes in the first half. I thought we had it right where we wanted the whole time because I knew we were going to make some form of a run. And when you have that type of big lead on the road, it's tough to hold that lead.
You were confident at halftime?
I swear, I just felt like if we made any kind of a run, being that they were a young team and playing with that type of lead, you start getting a little tight because it's like, I can't figure out how to stop this run. And obviously they kept shooting threes. They took threes early in the shot clock. They were missing. And then we see what happened. It was the collapse happened.
Well, it's interesting you say that because watching the game, I mean, and they're racking up. They're at 60 points and 70 points. And then early, I'm like, man, it's 9.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Like, I did feel like, man, just get this game over with, but it felt like it was going so slow.
It was.
Because I was like, it just felt like, almost like the Spurs were getting bored, because it was just so easy, but there was so much time left. And you knew the Knicks were going to make some type of run, and obviously we saw what happened. To answer your question, Wilds, I got to be honest, like, it will be remembered as a historic comeback. Because it's the Knicks, because it will likely be their first championship in 53 years, it's New York, and New York lore is going to trump San Antonio lore. All right, so San Antonio will be remembered as a collapse.
Well, what
but
do you
New
think?
York,
Forget how it will be remembered.
For me, it was clearly a collapse.
Yes.
And giving credit to the Knicks, of course. But there's no Charles Barkley is absolutely right. You can't come back from 29 down without the other team helping you. I don't care what. Like you said, they're taking quick shots. Just take a little time. Stay aggressive, but work the clock a little bit. They did none of that. And so it absolutely was a collapse.
So the 2 biggest NFL playoff from a margin comebacks of my lifetime, not my lifetime, my adult lifetime, are 28-3 Patriots in the Super Bowl, and the year the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl, down 24-0 to the Texans. 28-3 was a Patriots comeback with a couple unfortunate moves by Atlanta, but it was a lot of Patriots excellence. 24-0 was the Texans doing some of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen a team do. They did a fake punt with a lead. They fumbled a kickoff, which is why this to me is more Texans than Falcons. This way or more the Knicks, yes, Brunson was clutch because he is clutch. And OG is an unbelievable start to finish game, and then the ending kick. But the Spurs just needed to have 5 straight minutes of competent basketball, and the Knicks wouldn't have been able to do it. Like and this is where what will, for at least the short term, stick to Wemby. I'm not even talking legacy-wise. I mean, as far as who he is as a not yet fully formed player, is because of where the flaws in his game are. You can't just be like, go get us a bucket and calm this crowd down. And I've been the way you could with any of the other guys that we talk about as the best player in the league. I'm not saying those.
I think this might actually be better because now I have all barrier. I have anti-barrier sword, unstoppable sword, overload hand cannon. I have all champion measures. My stats are all good besides health. My survivability should be good. Now, the only thing that sucks is that I don't have the one perk on my cloak that he has. But otherwise, it's a really good build.
I think like he couldn't believe what was happening and forgot he was an active participant. Like, what did you make of Mitch Johnson not calling timeouts and calming everything down?
I feel like when you have a league like that, you are just really trying to just
Ideally, yes, I'd be able to get tier 5 armor, tier 5 armor, tier 5 armor here. And they did want me to use like this Wildwood mask and this I think these gloves they wanted me to use as well. But
obviously he had a timeout that he could have called there. But I just really with the players, like there's a such thing as basketball IQ, right? And to your point, like, I feel like they brought Fox there and they gave Fox that huge contract, right, to come in and kind of fill some of the void that Wemby had, right? And when you look at it, and I don't mean to kick a man while he's down, but he was the biggest culprit of anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you get that steal, it's 13 seconds left. I know in your mind you don't thinking like it's 13 seconds left, but you either dribble that out.
All right, we've got our third build.
They were gonna foul.
We've got our
in that moment. But you decide to try to lay the ball up on the 6'8"
new solar dodge ability build, the new void melee ability build, and the old sword build. So now we're going to need an arc build and a strand and stasis build. That'll be next. Arc, strand, and stasis next. And after that, we'll need a PvP build. And after that, but yeah.
But for some reason, like,
who should it be?
I don't know. I'm not in that locker room. That's the thing. It got to be someone.
Supposed to be Harrison Barnes, but he lost his starting job to Champagne, and now he's getting DMP coaches' decisions. Like, I thought Barnes is like one of the longer tenured sport.
All right, I'll be right back, ladies and gents. Enjoy the view of the traveler until I make my way back. You can hang out with Zavala. There you guys go. Look at that pretty view. All right. You have a chance to get tier 5 shinies when you buy this stuff. That's kind of crazy. Bang. Oh, I thought I was going to get it first try. Alright. I've used this build before. Let's go use it. Get warmed up with it. I probably should just do an arena thing. Because it's... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do have a pizza cooking, just an FYI to everyone. So I probably will mute up, eat my pizza. That'll be in about 20 minutes. Also, as an FYI, I'm probably only streaming, like I said, every day for about 4 hours. Just because I don't want to use up a crap ton of our internet data. Otherwise, I would stream longer. But I've calculated if I do, like right now, the stream is 2.5 hours, and I've used up 6.7 gigabytes. So, if we pull out the calculator, and let's say I do 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, that's what, 7.5 hour stream? 7.5 hour stream would be 20 gigabytes of data. Times that by 30 days in a month, that would mean that I would use up around 600 gigabits of data of our internet cap. Just with streaming. Not including everything else I do. You know? Which I like to watch a lot of videos. I like to play the music in the background, you know? And I'm not the only one in the house that uses the internet. My sister does as well. But my sister really barely uses it, honestly, unless she does watch a lot of anime. Anyways, at the end of the day, if I'm using 600 and our internet cap is 1200, you know, it's not good. It's 1200 minus 603 leaves you with 597. So, if I'm using half of the internet cap just for streaming, I'll probably end up using another 200 to 300 just for the videos and everything else and the downloads that I do. So that means there's only like maybe 200 left over for my sister to use every month. And I just don't think that's not too fair to do. I don't know. We'll see, man. What are these guys doing? Oh, this thing is a shot? Okay. Now I understand. It's a shotgun pistol. I was wondering why it was shooting so dang slow. Spread shot, yeah. This thing hits hard, not gonna lie. I was the only one fighting the boss, it felt like. $4.93. What the? Let's go do this strange signal real quick. There's Hive on the moon. Ascendant alloy and a diabetes. Love it. I'd rather you guys give me shards instead of alloys. Alright, let's go get over to that next world event. Do that, and then pizza should be ready. Final blows, challenge combatant. When you have unstable essence, you receive grenade and melee stat bonuses. When you have unstable essence, weapon heal you and begin health regen. That's pretty nuts. You get grenade, melee, and you get health regen and healing? Yeah, this Dream Bay set might be busted. Might be a busted set. Alright, they got melted. Do not come. I totally could have killed that walker before they finished that, but I was a good boy and I didn't because I wanted to do heroic. Dude, this dude is a tank. What? A literal tank. Oh. I was about to say, what is going on? Alright, let me go check on my pizza, everyone. I'll be right back. Oh. Oh, we're like... I thought I was getting fully disconnected. What happened? Dang, I think it like... It put me into a new instance. Oh, that's unfortunate, because we were like literally at the last stage. Alright. I will be right back. I'm back. I'm back.
Is he the longest tenured Spur?
Obviously,
I thought I heard Keldon was longer.
Oh no, Keldon I think is. But I thought he's a champion. You know, and I thought it was supposed to be him, but now he's been marginalized to such a degree that I don't know.
Really quick before we're going to talk about the World Cup, and your song aside, are you giving the Spurs any chance?
To win the series? No. To win another game? Yes.
Basically, so you're saying it's in six. Counting down to USA Paraguay. 1 day, 9 hours, 19 minutes. Joining us now is our World Cup.
Another week, boys,
And another 12.
This week in Destiny, we launch Monument of Triumph, our last live service update.
Another week, boys.
Destiny 2. God, dog it, man. We hope you had fun and that you could reunite with old friends, whether they are old raid bosses that have been away for far too long, or weapons reprised with all the love in the world. There were new friends coming to the party too. Don't you love surprises? Destiny 2, the collection trailer. The Pantheon grows. Trials of Osiris returns June the 12th. New player guide updated from Monument of Triumph. Monument of Triumph frequently asked questions. Revisiting the update 9.7.0 patch notes. Active and upcoming Destiny activities. All right, so Destiny 2, the collection trailer. 5 expansions, 4 content packs, 10 dungeons, 7 raids. Destiny 2, the collection is available now. I don't know if you guys have seen, but even right now, Destiny 2 ticked up to the number 2 selling game on Steam. And I think the big thing that has led to this, the amount of sales, is that everything was bundled. There wasn't like a million items that you had to buy. Everything was under one price point. And I think one of the biggest barriers for Destiny for too long has been not just the price point, but the sheer amount of different random things that would trip people up and make them wonder, which one of these do I even buy? And there was confusion surrounding that. So I love that they bundled this up. And if we ever do see a Destiny 3 in the future, we have got to figure out a way to simplify the monetization of this game. Now, Pantheon Gauntlets opens Saturday. You've seen the 2 activities available at launch and may have noticed a difference between them, other than their unique lineup of bosses. Callous Resplendent features reprised encounters, meaning they are largely as they originally were, but with changes to modernize the mechanics and tuning of combat and bosses to fit into the current gameplay meta. Continuing in the musical theme, each encounter in Golgoroth Surpassing is an encore. Each encore combines 2 previously separate encounters, one with the boss and one without, into a new experience that requires new strategies and coordination to overcome. Wow, dude, that is amazing. This Saturday, a 3rd redacted activity will unlock and challenge players to take on the full gauntlet of reprise and encore bosses. To earn the God's Bane title, Intrepid Fire teams need to complete 11 out of the 12 available triumphs, 3 of which are in this new activity, each rewarding unique emblems. For example, the Total Revolution triumph requires completing the gauntlet with 5 feats active to earn its emblem. Yeah, so we've been running Pantheon this week, and I love the blending of encounters and really just the change of them. I mean, they have been greatly changed. The Callous one, Eater of Wars, those are very much still the same. But when you get into Morgoth and, Gordon, those are a blending of the encounters, which is really, really cool. Now, knowing the full gauntlet may be intimidating for some fire teams, to provide a means to focus your gear pursuits, a rotation will begin featuring the Pantheon bosses next Tuesday at reset. 1 reprise and 1 encore encounter will be featured each week, giving players access to that boss and its rewards. Awesome. I've really enjoyed Pantheon so far, guys. Trials of Osiris returns June the 12th. Trials of Osiris returning for the very first time after Monument of Triumph, and it now works a bit differently. Instead of a map and just 1 featured weapon, players will be facing each other on 3 maps each weekend. As for the weapon, all Trials weapons will be dropping every weekend, which you can attune on your inventory for a higher chance to get the reward that you want. Lastly, we have a brand new Trials of Osiris armor set available to earn. Check it below. Yes, it looks good. We're actually going to be doing Trials, man. It's been a hot minute. Now, new player guide updated for Monument of Triumph. Whether you're a lapsed player coming back from Monument of Triumph or you're a new player wondering what all the buzz is about, our new player guide will come in handy if you get a bit lost in all the systems that make Destiny 2 such a deep, complex, and intriguing game. We've been working on updating so all the mini changes coming from Monument of Triumph are covered by it, including 1 new section that focuses on returning players jumping into the game right as the update goes live. Yeah, we've got a guide coming out. It'll probably be later this afternoon. I walked through this sheet right here in the show. If you're wondering which armor sets, 2-piece bonuses and 4-piece bonuses to grind for, and their loot source, we'll have this linked in our guide this evening. Some of these are ranked S tier, some A's, some B pluses, and whatnot. Again, some of this is subjective, and some of these definitely are niche, and then some that are in PvP category that are just labeled as just PvP. But we'll have this. We'll have this in our guide. We've got a pin here too. Let's check this out. Now, while we don't cover while we don't cover everything on this guide, we still believe it's a good starting point, or that it might help you answer some of your questions. Go check it out. Here, additionally, we also have mini articles in our player support section of Bungie that will also help you if you're stuck or don't understand a specific part of the game. Go here to check it out. All right, we also have some Monument of Triumph frequently asked questions. I haven't played in a while. Are my old weapons and armor still usable? Your previous gear is a great starting point for getting back into Destiny 2. As you continue to play, you'll earn new and higher tier gear that has increased stats, armor set bonuses, and weapons with additional perks to select. This will help you push past the limitations of your older gear. Keep anything that you enjoy using, but be open to replacing gear as your power level grows. I haven't played since before the Edge of Fate. What is the best way to level up? Fresh returning Guardians will start at 10 power, but loot will drop at 300 plus. Power has as a quick catch-up method, we removed the catch-up chest in favor of natural drops. Pay close attention to the rewards that each activity grants to optimize your Guardian's power. It's not much of a grind, guys. I will say the loot is plentiful. And this is another thing I'm going to say. You're not messing up playing anything at this point. Matter of fact, the moment you reach 300 power, you're good. You know, most activities you're going to be able to play, you'll be getting good drops, focus on the featured stuff, hit the bonus drops in some of the playlists, but you really can't mess up. Whether you're playing for dungeons or raids, Gambit, Crucible, you're going to be moving up every single time with those drops. Where can I find other people to play with? Check out our Fire Team Finder, our in-game LFG, looking for group tool. You can access it from the roster screen. I know some people don't use this. I think it's a really good feature. You hit an activity, you click find, and you see if there's anyone that's posted up. You can post your own, boom, you can team up. If not, you can do some Discord. We have a Discord as well if you want to hit that up as well. Now, revisiting the update 9.7.0 patch notes. Oh, were these long? At a record-breaking 17,000 words, the Destiny 2 update 9.7.0 patch notes were live on Tuesday. We covered everything in Monument of Triumph update for instance. The dev team poured their hearts and their brains to leave the game in the best state possible as we end its active development. While we will have some minor bug fix patches and hot fixes, this update is the last big one. So in case you missed them the other day, here they are so we can give them the proper setting. Yeah, that's something too, guys, I really want everyone to take in right now. The sandbox we are living in right now, this is it. Just like Destiny 1, when Destiny 1 stopped all of its updates, that sandbox, that year 3 sandbox, has remained the sandbox even to this day. What you experience now, what you're playing now, the sandbox will forever be this way. Which means if you come across a build from this point on, that's good. Well, until the servers get turned off, that build is still going to be good. And that's why they gave us 7 different artifacts to choose from. Thank you for showing up in mass for this one. And pardon our dust while we address some of the hiccups that may have popped up with this release. Game development is hard, but worth it. All right, active and upcoming Destiny activities. Activities added to the Portal Ops Pantheon. 2 challenges are now available. Callous Resplendent, Morgan's Surpassings. 1 more is coming on Saturday. Distortions available on select destinations, rotate every 60 minutes. Gambit Ops, new loot awaits. Grandmaster and Ultimate Conquests. Go get that Guardian rank 11. Ongoing to June the 16th. Feature raids, Last Wish, Vow Disciple. Feature dungeons, Shattered Throne, Duality, Grandmaster Vanguard alerts. There you go. And get the DFA Hankin if you want. Crucible Ops as well. Recent known issues on the Old Light Emblem. On Tuesday, our first wave of players received their Old Light Emblem. However, the in-game message sharing the location was incorrect. Players should look for this emblem in Collections Flare account. How many players have received this emblem already? There will be more waves for distribution over the next several weeks, so fret not if you qualify and haven't received it yet. Additionally, we want to reshare how we would determine the eligibility for the Old Lights emblem and the element of T emotes, which will appear in special deliveries. Players whose Bungie accounts and linked platform accounts have logged in and played Destiny 2 at least once during the following time periods will qualify for the emblem and emotes. Yeah, so essentially it's the people that have been here since the very beginning. For our Korean Guardians, we also are ensuring that you will qualify for the emblem if you began playing during Shadowkeep. Gotcha. That requires all of them. Feels bogus to me. I had to skip some in the middle because of responsibilities. Well, Candles, there's a lot of great emblems out there. Let me tell you a game that has something similar to this emblem right here, RuneScape. You see, RuneScape has a cape. It was the veteran cape, I believe. And essentially, if you didn't play X amount of years, you didn't qualify for said cape. It was to reward the OGs, the players that played way back when. And yeah, that's what it does. That's, you know, if you missed out, that's okay. I understand you had life stuff, but it's something that's very typical in any type of MMO. All right, other known issues, but we're not going to go through all of them. As a final note here, and that will do it for this twad. And that will do it for this tweet. Following the launch of Monument of Triumph, the whole team has been eagerly watching your journeys, your soul as you explore the latest changes and additions we've made to Destiny 2. We're also keeping a close eye on what needs some extra tweaks and still have a few days ahead of us as we check fixes, squash bugs, as we prepare to deploy update 9.7.0.1 next week to address them. This increment of patch is slated to go live Tuesday with the patch notes delivered in advance on the day. As a reminder from our Monument to Triumph announcement article, we will be continuing Twiz for a few weeks following launch to keep you informed of game news. Once we're through our launch window, our weekly blog entries will be entering a form of hibernation as well. This won't be the end of communication from us by any means. We'll still be keeping in touch with you and sharing community highlights through our website, social media channel, Discord, and other outlets. Speaking of game news, the Vanguard's receiving reports that Dredgen Bell is attempting to seize a weapon of Star discovered on the moon. We'll make sure that doesn't happen, Guardians, the Destiny 2 community team. Boys, we have been reading TWABs now every Thursday consistently. What would you say, since 2018? I don't know about y'all, but in the Destiny world, TWAB Day was always the day we look forward to the most, man. Obviously Tuesday and reset and all that stuff, but when it came to just gaming news and Destiny, TWABs, dude, I was always looking forward to this stuff to see what was being cooked, what they were going to talk about, and man, how wonderful it has been. Thank you to all of you who has tuned in over the years, who has read this alongside us, or with anyone else in the community. Thank you to the folks at Bungie. I know DMG and others have wrote many of these. Cosmo, Bruno, list goes on and on, man. Thank you to all those folks who have continued to write these over the years. I will read the final few TWABs over the next few weeks, and we'll see what happens after that, guys. It's been an honor, fellas. Truly, been an honor. Now, hold on. Well, I will say this. Maybe, just maybe, we might put out one fake TWAB a year still. I don't know if you know or not, but we would occasionally put out a fake TWAB. So, at some point in the future, on a random December day, you might see a fake TWAB from Luke and I. Apologies in advance. I will say this, guys. Like, I know Bungie has Marathon, and I know they're going to be working on other things, and I really hope the layoffs don't happen, but we've already been told that significant layoffs are coming. But I just feel like Bungie itself is just, it's changing so much. The thing that has made Bungie over these past almost 12 years, dude, things are just not going to be the same, man. Really not going to be the same. Unfortunately. Really unfortunate. There was significant failure too. Well, you can look at it that way, but I think Destiny had one of the greatest runs ever. And the fact that this game that everyone said is past its prime, that ain't worth a damn, yet somehow it is still sitting, or now sitting sitting at the #2 spot on the top currently global selling Steam games, along with Renegades at #8, Edge of Fate at #22. I don't know, man. Look like that old dog's got some fights. Just saying. You got PoE at #4, Forza at #3, Subnautica #30, Marathon's at 61. Baldur's Gate's still on this list. Look at Baldur's Gate go. Sony doesn't hate money. They hate throwing away money, and Bungie higher-ups drop the ball on Destiny for them to take any chances. Well, most of those higher-ups are now gone and terminated. Secondly, you may be saying that, but I think Marathon is the riskier move. Side to side, A/B testing. You saw it over the past week and a half. You saw it this week whenever Destiny 2 dropped its final update. You got a perfect snapshot of those two games side by side. Marathon also had its free week extended by 2 days. To me, Marathon is the riskier bet. And think about it from a monetization standpoint. Marathon's not going to sell season passes. They don't charge for season passes. They might add some skins, but what Marathon's going to have to do is capture way more players. And that's the struggle that it's having right now. It's just capturing more players. And look, this is not me hating on Marathon, which we have had our moments of hating on Marathon. This is me just saying that I think Marathon is the riskier play. That's all I'm saying. I think Marathon is the riskier play. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.
8, Transforming the Terrain was just released, and they are outlining what might be the most impactful patch for City Skylines 2 yet. And I don't think I'm being hyperbolic at all when I say that. I think that many of you are going to think that this is City Skylines 2.5. What we're getting are major changes to citizen pathfinding that should improve performance, as well as major overhauls to the visuals. And I mean major. Basically, if you were impressed by the last patch that improved the shadow rendering, you're going to absolutely love this one that completely overhauls the game's textures and the texture rendering system, as well as gives you the ability to paint on the terrain, similar to how it was done in City Skylines 1, but with even more granularity and power. So let's dive into all of it. Starting out with pathfinding, they've adjusted the citizen pathfinding so that your sims will make more sensible decisions about choosing stores and leisure activities and going to school and work to reduce the excessively long trips across the city. They've done this by adding pathfinding limitations that are now tailored by the trip type, and they use a more sensible range rather than the shared, almost unlimited distance that was previously used. That is wild. But I feel like we've all felt that when you see your citizens walking all the way across the map for what should be a trip that they'd need to use a car or public transit for. But they didn't stop there. They've also changed the way that citizens react when they can't find a viable route. So apparently when moving out, they'll just teleport off the map, which I'm hoping means that we won't see the lines of people walking down train tracks and highways to leave the city. Workers will drop their job when they can't find a viable route, which I think means that they'll quit their job and maybe find a different one. And leisure seekers will idle at home before retrying, which I'm guessing means they won't circle around your city indefinitely. They do caution though, these changes have been made quite carefully, so this won't happen for every single trip, but they've now laid the foundation to continue to refine the system, and they're promising to do so. Now this next one's kind of a doozy. They fixed the bug where citizens would choose their shopping locations based entirely on available stock, wherever the shop was. So what I think this means is if your sim wants food and they just know that food is available at a store across the map, they would go to that store, even if they had to pass 10 food shops along the way, all because they just have this intuitive sense that that store has what they're looking for. So this should do two things. It should improve performance and put more emphasis on proper planning. They say that this change puts more significance on where you might place your commercial areas. After the update, it might cause your city to have more not enough customers warnings. So you're gonna have to plan your cities appropriately or face the consequences. This is what I've been wanting the entire time. But the other nice thing about this is if you see not enough customers warnings, you're gonna be able to solve them. Because if you're like me, you've seen those warnings and kind of gone and shrugged your shoulders and not been able to fix them. This is the reason why, and now you're going to be able to, and that's incredibly exciting. That means we can play the game like a simulation, which is what I've wanted since day one. But they acknowledge that this feature will need balancing and they want our feedback, so be sure to leave your feedback on the Paradox forums. And there's one more pathfinding fix. Apparently there's a bug that caused households to repeatedly look for new homes but almost always fail to find one. Now apparently they're going to reevaluate potential homes less frequently, which will also improve simulation performance, especially in larger cities. And apparently inspired by this bug fix, they've also just adjusted how often citizens will look for homes generally, which should improve performance for everyone across the board. But then we get to the good stuff. And I can't believe I'm saying this, the visual improvements might be a bigger deal than the performance and pathfinding improvements. For this patch, they completely overhauled the terrain rendering system. They added tri-planar mapping for cliffs, the individual smoothness maps for terrain textures, as well as improved terrain normal calculation. Now, if you're not a game programmer and don't know what that means, basically it means that you won't have stretched surfaces when you're terraforming, and the terrain just going to look better in general. We'll kind of dive into some of the details as we go through this. They give some really pointed examples that I think demonstrate what this is and how much better it makes the game look. Additionally, they added more levels of detail and improved the blending between them so you won't see all the popping. They've also upgraded the terrain textures and improved the blending between the different surface types. And apparently this change is applied across the board. You're going to be able to experience these on all the maps in the game. All the maps have been updated with improved grass, dirt, and rock materials, creating a more natural and visually pleasing look. And they say that specific maps like Archipelago Haven, Twin Mountain, Great Highlands, River Delta, and Mountain Village have all been manually updated as well. And they plan on updating all the rest of the maps in the game too. So my guess is you're going to see improvements across the board on all maps, but if you go in and manually refine things, you're going to see some massive improvements. But here's the truly wild thing. They say that when implementing these changes, they were careful not to negatively impact the rendering performance of the game, and they somehow managed to actually improve the rendering performance. So my guess is this means that the impact to your GPU is going to be less than it was before. So not only is the game going to look better, but it's going to perform better. And that's just, to me, kind of mind-blowing. It's pretty cool. And I think the proof of this is in this image right here. It just looks like a different game. Now, this thing that you're seeing right here, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. That's something different that also is coming with this patch. But the normal terrain that you're seeing, the grass texture, it just looks a ton better. And this is something that we've always known was possible because Map Texture Replacer made the game look a ton better. But to see this in the vanilla game and to see some of the other things, like the elevation, you can kind of just tell it by looking at it. It's a complete overhaul. Like for people who don't want to use Map Texture Replacer, who just want the game to look good out of the box, now it does. And I gotta tell you, this isn't even the most impressive picture. There's some wild things in this. But wait, there's more. This patch introduces the ability to modify ground textures directly in-game. So this is kind of like the blobby paintbrush tool that we had in City Skylines 1, but with a ton more control. This, to me, is more similar to the tool that you have in Town to City. And what that means is you're going to be able to run. I can't wait to see what people do with this. I think that people are going to make some absolutely realistic looking natural environments using this tool in combination with the new textures that we have. And just in what they demonstrate here, listen, they have a dirt road, and one of the things that's really bothered me about the dirt roads is how unnatural they look on the edges. Now, this isn't perfect, but this is leagues beyond what we've seen before. They've used this tool to try to make it look a little bit more rugged and worn on the sides of the road. And they added it underneath these barns to just make it look a bit more natural. And it just, the whole effect is really, really, really pleasant. Now, this is something that you could kind of mimic with surfaces if you used a whole bunch of custom surfaces, but you could never do anything that looked this natural. And I have a feeling that for some people, this is going to be good enough for them, and they're going to start to ditch using custom surfaces for things like this. And based on the stream from yesterday, which I'll link below, it sounds like we're going to be able to make our own custom paint swatches. So really, this might be the total replacement for custom surfaces for some people. But maybe one of the most exciting things that you can do with this tool is make really nice beaches. This is something that has been absolutely impossible to do in the game without mods, and even with mods, it's really challenging to do. And this makes it appear like you can just paint a nice beach on there and have a really nice transition between the grassy ground and the sandy beach. I am so pumped to see this. This means that I can put the beach in Saguna Beach. Yes, Astro, I stole that from you, and I appreciate you for coming up with that because this is going to be amazing. I can't wait to go and update my maps. The only thing missing from this scene is people, so I'm hoping that this is the first step towards being able to activate beaches, but this looks absolutely awesome, and I can't wait to make some custom beaches. This is going to be so cool. Now, right here, they're actually nudging map creators to update their existing maps to get the new textures, and they're actually saying that they've improved the process of making maps. Now, if you're not a map creator, you probably don't know this, but there are these little gizmos that appear above every single tree in the map editor, and it can absolutely tank performance, and it adds a lot of visual clutter, so when you're making a map, you end up seeing a whole bunch of stuff that you don't actually see when you publish it. So they've gotten rid of that, which should improve performance when you're making maps and just make it easier to see what you're creating. So I have a feeling that if you're a map maker, you're going to have a much better time with this. And there are a number of people that play the game primarily to make maps, so this is a huge quality of life improvement for them. And now we get to a couple of good things. Here is the before of Archipelago Haven, and I want to point out a couple of things. Check out the mountains and check out the coastline right here, because here's the after, and it's night and day. The mountains look so much more jagged, so much more rocky, so much more realistic. And this shoreline right here, those cliffs go straight into the water, and it just looks a ton more natural. You can tell that there is some relief and elevation change here, and that's something that the game has really struggled with. And just in general, I feel like the entire environment looks a lot more realistic and natural. You can see there's a bit of a natural beach right here as well. And if you were to use the sprayer, you should be able to create your own beach right here if you wanted to as well. And check this out. If you didn't know that this is City Skylines 2, Mountain Village, you might think that it's a photo. This fixes one of my biggest problems in City Skylines 2 with using snow, and that's the way that mountains look. This looks dang near realistic. This is exceptional. This is outstanding. This is beautiful. The only thing that we're not seeing in this picture is the snow line. And if that is fixed, then all of my problems with snow, at least as they relate to mountains, have been resolved, and my expectations kind of exceeded because this looks amazing. I actually kind of want to ask my wife what she thinks of this image and see if she notices that it's the game or not, because I don't think she will. And that's just because it looks that good. Now, they also say that they fixed an issue with the terrain normal calculations that was causing the terrain to appear flatter than intended. Apparently, the normals were incorrectly pointing too far upward, which flattened the appearance of the landscape and reduced the sense of depth. And this is something that I have felt from day one, and I think a lot of us have. It just really bothered me because you can't really tell the elevation of things unless you turn on the contour lines. This is why I was so bothered by not having contour lines the first time I played the game, and why I lobbied so hard to get them. And they say, with this fix, the terrain now better reflects its true shape, revealing more of the surface detail, giving the world a greater sense of depth and dimension. So check out this map. You don't see a lot of depth right here. It looks fairly flat all the way around here. There's a little bit of relief around the river, but it's pretty mild. And going up to the mountain right here, it also looks pretty flat. That is not the way it looks in the new version of the game. You can tell that there are some hills right here, some rolling hills as you approach the mountain right here. It appears
in all of sports, the Bud List. It is also a time where we open up our mailboxes, sometimes physically, sometimes digitally, a lot of times just physical mail. And
does Dax
read some letters.
understand the culture of this?
Yeah, he's a sharp guy.
Yeah, it's
because it's a little different.
It's pretty basic.
If you don't, you'll
fans
think it's
write
crazy.
into the show.
I got it.
Christina goes to the post office, talks to the postmaster general himself, gives her a bag of letters. She comes back here like Santa. I pick one at random and read it. And that's how it basically works.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
He's going to bring out some little miniature figurines. Let's go with it.
I
Just
got
go
this little
with
thing
it.
here. I'm
Just
not
go
bringing it
with
out. It didn't work. Bum. Dear Wilds, love the show. And love the new time slot and the contributions of World Cup expert Dax McCarty. Wow, that's nice. Are you guys pounding coffee or anything for the earlier wake-up time? Thanks, Ryan and Brian. Well, thank you, Ryan and Brian. I appreciate you asking. I did get a little bit early on the Java this morning. And, of course, we're always looking to make a few extra bucks on the show. So we're happy to introduce our newest invention / product called, dun-dun-dun-dun, it's called Cold Brew. There it is. I got a little bit nervous there. I got nervous as well. I got nervous. Oh, here it is. That's why.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it.
It looks
May I?
outstanding.
It's plant-based, too.
It's not plant-based.
No, it's coffee.
I mean, it's coffee.
Oh, it's
plant-based, if that's
plant-based
what you mean.
coffee.
Well,
Yeah.
Bro,
yeah,
coffee is plant-based.
mushrooms and all that in
No.
it.
No, there's not mushrooms.
Rizza, or whatever they call it.
Rizza.
Rise,
Rizza was
rise.
performed at halftime yesterday.
It's mushroom coffee.
No, it's
Bro,
not.
why do you keep saying
It's my drink. I know what it is.
It's not mushroom
It's
coffee.
cold mushroom coffee, and it's great for
All
you.
right,
That's how I
give it
got
a
rid
try.
of most of that belly that Cowboy Brew had.
Now I don't. Now we're gonna get sued. I don't think you can target fat deposits on your body.
All right, time for the bud list?
Thank you, Wild.
That was a disaster.
You put effort into that. I appreciate it. All right, here we go. Speaking of effort. Number 3, Christian Pulisic. All right, look, 27 years old, smack dab in the middle of your prime, the best American player on earth in terms of soccer, and on the trajectory to be maybe the best American player, period. Been a rough year, right? You had injuries, AC Milan kind of derailed that season. You went in this slump, 21 straight games for Team USA without scoring a goal, but you broke out of it just in the nick of time. And if you can lead Team USA to a deep run, now we've been eliminated, knocked out in the round of 16 the last 3 World Cups. If you can lead us on a great deep run, we're not even asking to win it, we're like, with a deep run, then maybe at the young age of 27, do you already solidify best American player ever? Christian, I love your name, and I believe in you. All right, at number 2,
Amazing.
De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron, look, I'm old school. I'm about tough love. All right, so I know I came down on you hard earlier in the show for your 3 gaffes at the end of the game that contributed to the biggest NBA Finals. But you are a very good player, 2-time All-Star. He did hit a couple clutch buckets last night. I give you that right. We don't forget about all that. But now is the time for redemption, absolute redemption. And remember, and I brought this up, and I'm not trying to get you out of San Antonio because I think you're very good. But at some point in the future, maybe near future, they are going to move on from you because they're going to have to pay Wemby, Dylan Harper, and Stephon Castle. So this could be your only or one of your only chances to win an NBA championship. So you have to come and get redemption immediately in Game 5. You've struggled in these finals, shooting 38%. 2 games, you've been below 30%, and obviously you had some mistakes last night. But shake it off, be the veteran leader they've called you to be, they brought you in to be, and play to the great potential that you have, and be the clutch player of the year that you were a few years ago. De'Aaron, yes, I yelled at you, but I still believe in you. All right, and number 1, speaking of tough love, Wemby. Now, Wemby, you probably heard the phrase, class is in session a lot. You're probably used to it, but it's usually you're the teacher. But now you are being schooled. I've said it, the NBA Finals, it takes no prisoners, particularly when it comes to young superstars, and right now you're being humbled. You are being humbled, all right? So you have to learn these lessons ASAP, all right? The lessons. 1, Nick said it earlier, stamina. You got to get your stamina up. You got to be able to play more minutes. Talk to the Spurs, forget that 30 minutes a game stuff. You have to get ready for the NBA playoffs by playing more minutes in the regular season. 2, strength, all right? The game is physical, as you're seeing. More physical in the playoffs than in the regular season. They let you play. Get in that weight room and get yourself a low-post game. 3, mental toughness. Because you did choke last night in those free throws. I mean, you missed one, okay, it happens, but you missed both of them. You're too good for that. Maybe go see the monks again this summer. You know, in between workouts, go see the monks, get a little deeper and stronger mentally. So that is what you need to do, Wemby. Look, you do have a chance to make history. Now we know it is possible to come back from a 3-1 deficit. You guys have shown throughout large portions of games that you can be the better team in this series. So go out there and make history. And if you don't, then this summer come back stronger, better conditioned, better post moves, and even mentally tougher. And sky is the limit for you. So Wemby, I still believe it.
Okay, excellent bud list as always, Dax. This is your first appearance on the bud list, and I hope you caught the vibe.
I sure did.
1 part motivational, 1 part scolding sometimes. You can go anywhere you want. Who would you like to motivate/scold?
Well, I'm going to motivate and scold Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest players of all time. But, Brew, I think your bud list, you got to flip the Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama there, honestly.
Ooh, that was been dying to talk about
dying to say that. Nobody cares about my opinion on basketball. I get it. But you guys switched it. I love that Pulisic is on that list because this is a massive tournament for him. But Mr. Ronaldo, Cristiano, your legacy is secure amongst the pantheon of greatest players of all time. Of course, we can always go back and forth with Messi, Ronaldo. Messi's the GOAT for me, but it's not just because of their accomplishments in the club game. It's also their accomplishments with their national teams. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the greatest players that's ever lived. There's absolutely no question about that. That legacy is secure. But when he goes to sleep at night after he retires, if he does not have a World Cup, he can say all he wants that he is the GOAT, and I guarantee you Cristiano says it. He says it publicly. He will celebrate it to anyone who will listen. But he'll know in the back of his head that he isn't in that conversation with Lionel Messi if he does not secure a World Cup title. And it's not just all on him. Of course, it's on the supporting cast. I can go down the list of wonderful players, great players who have never won a World Cup. George Weah, George Best, Ryan Giggs. But the difference between those guys and Cristiano Ronaldo, the supporting cast wasn't good enough to help them even get to a World Cup. None of those players even played in a World Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo is about to play in World Cup number 6. And let me tell you something about his supporting cast. It is one of the best in the entire tournament. If you can make an argument that Portugal and the talent that they have is second to maybe France. Really? So I don't want to hear about Cristiano Ronaldo needing more support, more help. They have the best midfield in the entire World Cup. You have Bernardo Silva, Vitinha, João Neves, Bruno Fernandes, all 4 midfielders playing at a world-class level, providing service. Cristiano, you have no excuses. We showed the clips against Nigeria yesterday, and it's almost like the Monstars went and zapped all of his powers. This is his bread and butter right here. Cristiano, that is why you are on the field for Portugal. You score those goals in your sleep. That's just not good enough. And so his World Cup legacy is fundamentally absolutely on the line. His ego won't let him come off the bench. I would prefer him to be in a super sub role. I would prefer him to be able to be on the bench, come into a game if they need a goal. And this type of stuff, that ball was a little bit behind him, but the Cristiano Ronaldo of a couple of years ago buries these. A couple of World Cup stats. I know people love stats. Cristiano Ronaldo, he has scored in the most World Cups all time. Scored in 5 World Cups. Fantastic. He has 8 goals in the World Cup. All of those goals have come in the group stage. He hasn't scored 1 goal in the knockout round. He got the clutch gene. He's had the clutch gene for his club teams. He's won multiple Champions Leagues, Premier League titles. He's won everywhere he's been, but he has not had the clutch gene in the World Cup. And Portugal, he's made the semifinal 1 time. He has never made a World Cup final. The most he's gotten since 2006 has been back to a quarterfinal. You want to be considered the GOAT? You want to have your Portuguese legacy secure in world football? You have to show up. You have to perform. You have to be the player that you were when Portugal was dominating and winning things. But the World Cup, that is where the biggest players and the biggest stars are made. The pressure's on Cristiano.
Man, excellent. That's a heck of a Butler's debut. Outstanding.
It was hard to follow you up.
That was you did it. You did it. That was great. That was great.
Okay. It's time now for the Sports Media Ombudsman. Now also, between inspiring players and occasionally motivating players or, we also just randomly do a Sports Media Ombudsman.
Yeah.
He stole his media.
So, this is a little media news. So I'm a millennial.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're a grandfather.
I'm a grandfather. I'm also a millennial. I'm 1984. I think millennials are an underrated generation. I think they're compared to, well, really any of them. I think it might be the GOAT generation.
This is really? the millennial side of the
With that said,
I've never heard that.
Yeah, I understand.
Tom Brokaw's
With that said, problem millennials have, and young people call it gatekeeping. I call it being a hipster. Nowadays, you hear the word hipster, you think people are drinking fancy coffees in Brooklyn.
Coffee.
Exactly. That's not what hipster meant to me when I was growing up. Hipster was this person. Loved a band when they were playing for 75 people in a free admission. But then all of a sudden they got a big break, they became popular, and those people were like, you weren't a fan before. That's my band. That's what a hipster was.
Okay.
Don't be a soccer hipster. Don't be somebody. The World Cup is the greatest tournament in sports.
Preach.
Of course, there are people that live and die with professional football, soccer, year-round. Those people, for them, this is their Christmas and only comes once every 4 years. Of course, this tournament is good. There are also folks who can't name 5 players in this tournament who are excited to watch it. If you are one of the former, do not condescend to one of the latter. Open the tent up and embrace this tournament for what it is. Not only the world's greatest tournament, but a very unique blending of international cultures, the likes of which has been best demonstrated by some German fella named Freddie on Twitter.
This guy's just dominating.
This German fella, Brew, flew into Atlanta to watch his German soccer team play, and then decided, I'm driving through the South, and I'm going to take you on the tour with me. And guess what? He loves it. Atlanta is so green, it's crazy. Feels like you're in a forest the whole time, says Freddie, our German friend. He keeps going. Our last 2 stops, we're leaving Atlanta. Some Stranger Things filming locations, the MLK National Historical Park. Can't get that in Berlin. He's on his way to, why is every second comment telling me to go to strip clubs? Is this normal activity to do in America? It may be. So you're going to Atlanta to Houston, sure. Found a German village in the mountains of North Georgia.
That would surprise me.
I feel right at home. He also loves Taco Bell and Wendy's and all this.
Dude,
LMAO, this is a gas station? Oh, that's right. He is having the time of his life. And this is what really, this last one warmed my heart. He talked about how beautiful the place he's staying is. Bear Hope, Alabama. Just like, hey, stumbled upon a small town in America, I'm loving it. That's what this tournament's about. You got people coming from all over the world. It's held in the U.S. It's the second time in my lifetime, first time since I was a little kid. Everybody celebrating the sport and celebrating all these people coming together, whether you're a diehard soccer fan or not.
Excellent. Shout out to Freddie.
Good job.
Yeah.
Bonus take, even though we're tight on.
Bonus take.
That's how you should be on a battlefield. A gauge of pure combat potential. Make me proud.
Dookie, 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 dookie. Dookie, dookie. Killed myself.
And make sure you're still standing when the dust settles.
Frag grenade ready. What? When did I what? I'm not spec'd into that. Hothead and Recluse. Let's go. 1.5. Done killed myself again. I guess the heavy despawns. I don't know how the heavy works. I was gonna grab it, but
This is a gauge of pure combat potential. Make me proud. Were gentler than you. Fantastic work.
Triple hothead. Gotta get rid of 2 of them though. 505, that's nice. The Midnight Coup. That's nice. Even colleges. Alright, well, we just hit the 10 gigabyte data usage, so I found out that it takes 3 hours and 52 minutes to hit 10 gigs of data. So realistically, that's where I should cap my internet usage. Because if you just calculate, oh, you're using 10 gigs a day times 30 days, that's 300 gigs a month just streaming. Like I said, nothing else. Which is crazy. That's crazy. Because there's streamers out there that stream 8 hours a day, and they do all kinds of stuff. Most of them probably pay for uncapped internet. But, yeah. Companies get enough money as it is. Anyways, that's where I'm going to call it. I'm going to keep playing. I usually play a good chunk, I mean. But yes. I've had these past couple days off, and I have the next couple days off. I want to continue to keep playing as much as I can to show my support. And yeah, I don't plan on stopping this streaming marathon. I do want to play at least 3 to 4 hours a day, every day, until they announce a Destiny 3. Would I be okay with some other project? I mean, I guess. But realistically, we want a console looter shooter Destiny 3. That's what we want. Well, not even console. It can be PC, but there's so many people on console that, yes, you do have to make it for console. So, we want a next-gen Destiny 3 looter shooter experience to either, and it can be set in the past, it can be set in the future, I don't care. As long as it is in this universe, that's what we want. That's what I want. Because, yeah, the gameplay, the lore, the feel, the art, everything about this game is good. And we aren't going to let Sony kill it off. Alright, ladies and gents.